So I want to make a video response about this racist video. I found out about it because I was just watching some videos and I saw it in the sidebar, and the title was like basically like the most racist video ever, and the racism was directed towards Asians. Now I saw the commentary. It was basically you know, speaking about the video and how racist it is, and then I saw the actual video. And my feedback on all of it is, you know, I want to keep this short. I don't want to get too much into it. I don't want to get too angry about it, but it did bring a lot of anger watching the video. It brought a lot of pain, and it's just I don't want to promote the video, but at the same token, I want to use this as evidence to show to the people that this is a huge problem here, that this is not something that I'm delusional about. I mean, I see what's going on here, and I made a lot of recent videos attacking Jackie Chan for participating in this racism and encouraging these type of stereotypes, and it's a huge problem, you know, and it's not getting any better. If anything, it's getting worse. Back in Bruce Lee's time, he experienced a lot of racism, and I've been experiencing most of my life, all of my life. I've recently experienced it in my employment, and you know, I got wrongfully terminated, pushed out, and it was because of my race. And then now, you know, even though operating my own business, I still got to deal with it on, you know, on a frequent basis, you know, and people don't realize and they don't see what's going on as far as what's going on to the Asians in America. It's like they don't have any protection, and they are the main targets of racism, not just from whites, Caucasians, but also from blacks, you know, and just a lot of people are attacking the Asians, and there's no one there to defend them, you know, and you got like, it's almost like the whites attacking the blacks like in the past, but then there's no Martin Luther King Jr. and then there's no Malcolm X to defend against the blacks, and then the abuse continues. And that's pretty much what's going on with the Asians, is that these Nazis out there, and they come in different skin colors, you know, they come in white and black and other skin colors, and they even come at their own skin color, so meaning they've turned Asians against themselves as well. So you got these Nazis out there that are targeting these Asians and really expressing a lot of hatred, you know, and I think it's just a lot of unappreciation out there. You know what I mean? If you think about it, you know, the blacks didn't want to be slaves. They didn't want to put up with it, so then they rebelled. But there's still a lot of problems, you know what I mean? That rebellion, you know, led to a lot of, you know, basically violence and just hatred amongst the Nazis and the blacks, and now you see a lot of blacks are in jail. And what happens is you got these Nazis that oppress these blacks, and then the blacks rebel, and then they throw the blacks in jail, and then they fill up the jails with blacks. So it's a tough struggle. And then, you know, if you try to deal with it in a peaceful way, they just keep bullying you, and then the oppression, the racism just doesn't stop. And if you try to fight back, they'll throw you in jail, or they'll label you as a terrorist or whatever. I see what's going on in America, and it's very sad. You know what I mean? The racism that goes against the blacks fight back, they throw them in jail. You got the Muslims, you know, that they're just doing their religion thing, and then they'll turn against them and call them terrorists. You know what I'm saying? And then the Asians, for the most part, they're peaceful, so they just keep bullying them. And you see it in this music video, you see it all over the media, all over the movies. They just keep bullying them and bullying them. So you got these Nazis picking on the blacks, picking on the Muslims, picking on the Asians. They just pick on whoever they want to pick on. You know what I'm saying? It's bad out there. It's really bad. And I mean, this is today. This is right now. This is not the 1950s or the 1900s. This is like 2013. You see this video, this music video like this hardcore racism, and it's not just like a regular underground YouTuber. I mean, this is like a commercial, like semi-successful band out there in mass media. Because if it was just a regular YouTube, they wouldn't be commenting on this video on a professional networking station. So you're talking about like mass media promoting this sort of racism. It's extremely disappointing, you know, and it's just direct evidence to show you how we have not progressed, not at all. If anything, we are degressing. We are going towards further destruction. Martin Luther King Jr., the racism back then is just as strong as it is now. You know, I mean, there's nothing that's changed. It's just suppressed. It's just redirected into another form of hatred, and it becomes expressed in a different way. So, you know, you repress people from being racist towards blacks, then they're going to turn their hate towards another group of people. The Asians, the Hispanics, the Muslims, or whatever. They're going to turn their hatred towards something else, and that's exactly what's going on. You know, and it's a very sad thing. And the cure, I know what the cure is. The cure is meditation. The cure is like a complete transformation of the society's values and how they value this ego and pride. They need to learn the opposite. That's the cure, but people don't understand this, and they keep promoting this ego and pride and this competitiveness, and then it comes out in this ugly way, what we call racism. There's no way that there could be such a thing as the promotion of ego and pride and competition and not have racism. They all come together as a whole, together. You know, so we need to drop this competitive mentality, this egoistic and prideful mentality, and then we will be cured from racism. But until then, it will always be here, you know. And I think this is a very sad thing they just don't appreciate. Really, the blacks were the ones who were used as slaves in the past, but now the slaves are the Chinese. You know, so they can't get the blacks to work for $2 an hour, so then they'll make the Chinese do it in China, to work for 50 cents an hour or 50 cents a day, and turn those people in China into slaves. And everything that we use here in America is made out of China, but yet we are exploiting them, and we are just taking advantage. We are disrespecting them. We have no appreciation for everything they've done for us. Allow us to live this comfortable lifestyle in America, and then here we go, bashing on their race, making fun of them, and all this other nonsense. You know, I think it's very sad. You know, and I'm ashamed of what America's trying to represent with the way that they're portraying the Chinese or the Asians. I'm very ashamed. You know, I'm caught in between. I'm like half American, half Chinese. That's pretty much, I'm in between. And I'm very ashamed of seeing this hatred coming from America towards China. This racist behavior. And there's really not much more I could say. You know, like I said, you know, I don't want to promote the video, but at the same time, I want to speak about how wrong the video is, and how everything that I've been speaking about, it's there, and it's true. What's going on? It's just people don't want to face up to it. But this is direct evidence to show you that this is a huge problem here. and I feel a lot of inner hatred and jealousy and competitiveness and anger and pride coming from some of these people out there. I can feel it, you know, and it's a reality. You know, there are Nazis out there. They're out there, and as I stated, they come in different forms, and they even turn this woman in this video to have self-hatred towards her own race. That's why she participated in the video. So you got Asians out there that hate Asians as passionately as any Nazi, because they've turned the self-hatred onto themselves and their own people. It's a very sad thing, you know. And as I stated, I know what the cure is, but people, the society doesn't want to be cured. The government doesn't want the people to be cured. They encourage racism. They encourage pride. They encourage competition. They encourage capitalism. They encourage stepping over the one person to get on top. They encourage that bullying behavior. And that's exactly what I'm trying to educate people about, that this is destructive. We have to, you know, find a way to survive, make money, but at the same time get along, be respectful, you know, and balance. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that nobody should compete at all, but I mean, let's compete. If you're gonna compete, just compete in a healthier way. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You know, we gotta be able to understand, essentially just understand this ego. And we gotta know when to put it in check and when to use it. And just basically come to like a understanding that, hey, you know, if we're gonna play this competitive game, let's do it in a more respectful way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I don't know, people just don't have an understanding. But I want you to try to see if you could put yourself in the shoes of this situation. Because even if you're a white person living in America and you don't feel racism, you may feel discrimination in other ways. And then based on that feeling, maybe that could help you understand that this is something that should not be promoted. We need to find a way to encourage a healthier society. That's not focused around so much hatred, you know. We need to find other ways to entertain ourselves without having to have to be out of the expense of another individual or a group of people. You know, if we're busy doing our own thing in lives, busy being creative, busy developing ourselves to artists on our own right, we wouldn't really need to be entertained by the outside. You know, I think that that's one of the key things of getting away from all this. Because I see that a lot of people, there's a lot of racist behavior because it generates money, it generates attention, and people are just so bored with their lives that they just need somebody to entertain them and to make them laugh and to poke fun at other people or other things, when really, you know, why don't we just concentrate on our own lives and our own development rather than laughing at other people and putting other people down? Why don't we develop ourselves? Why don't we develop some intelligence? Why don't we read or write or exercise or practice art, you know, play music? You know, people are just so, they live such worthless and pointless lives that they need this type of destructive forms of entertainment. And I see that that's one of the huge problems that needs to be fixed. We need to more so participate in life rather than just sitting, watching, and expecting to be entertained. And that's why you got all these silly ass people out there doing all this silly ass and disrespectful things in a way to try to entertain you. So it's not just the circus clowns that are at fault, it's the audience that's at fault as well. And both those individuals need to be cured. We need to just live more fully as human beings and be artists in our own right.